Oh, happy Saturday. I'm meteorologist James Hopkins, joined by Robert Speta at First Coast News. And the reason why both of us are here is we're talking about heat, and we're not just talking about heat in each of our areas. We're talking about a lot of heat across portions of the country. And it's funny to look at some of these maps. We're not even in Florida. We're used to this heat. 103, 105. This is kind of an everyday thing for us. But look at some of these spots that are actually hotter than us. Look at the coast of the Carolinas all the way down through Savannah, Georgia. Extreme heat warning all the way up through Minneapolis, and there in St. Louis. Kind of goes to show what kind of the definition of urban heat island when you have an extreme heat warning like that. But we're going to be dealing with a lot of heat. We dealt with it last weekend, and we're going to be dealing with it again as we go throughout this weekend. This time, it's extended a little bit further. So, weather impact alert, of course, just giving you the heads up that there's going to be some dangerous heat around. We're starting it today here, coming up at noon. It'll go from noon to 6 today, every day from today all the way through Tuesday. We already have a heat advisory out there, expecting heat advisories all the way through Tuesday. And again, with the changing forecasts, we could see maybe this going a little further than that. There is a lot of heat out there. You got to remember to stay cool, stay hydrated. So the reason why we have this right now going through Tuesday is look at the heat index. This is what is expected. And Robert will probably tell you the same thing about this. What you see here for Saturday is 104. You're like, well, that's not that hot. We're used to dealing with stuff like that. That is the forecast for Tampa. And from someone who lives just about 10 miles outside of Tampa, I know in my area, that 104 means I'm going to be 109. I live over in Riverview area, and there's portions of inland that do get a lot hotter than that. But then look at Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Again, that is for Tampa. And you know, Tampa right on the bay there is not nearly as hot as some of those inland areas. So again, that's why we're expecting that at least through Tuesday. Even though Tuesday we do have some rain chances returning, forecast models kind of hit or miss. So right there's your heat advisory. Now this is of course our area, Jacksonville, all the way down through Tampa, Sarasota, over to Palm Bay and up to Daytona Beach. So I expect this to expand even more as we go throughout tomorrow and into Monday as well. And we'll show you why in the forecast. But again, here is our area, Coastal River, all the way down through Port Charlotte is expecting to be hot. Now, here we go. Current temperatures, and as you can see there, Tampa and Riverview both sitting at 89 with Lakewood Ranch. Wesley Chapel sitting at 90. Winter Haven's at 89. But look at the feels like temperature already for Riverview. 107 for Wesley Chapel as well. 103 already for Tampa, and the hot spot, Lakewood Ranch, sitting at 109. And the reason why we're expecting this to get a little bit more widespread is look at your humidity trend. Actual temperature is not going to change that much, but we're adding more humidity Sunday into Monday. And of course, there's an equation that goes into this. It's exponential. Whenever you add 2 degrees for your dew points, you're not going to add 2 degrees for the heat index. It's going to go up more than that. So you'll go from, again, 104 today to 109. And then maybe even higher as we go throughout your Monday. So there it is. There's your heat advisory for today. And I want you to check out the next 4 days, because what we're looking at is the color change from orange to red to purple. Orange is moderate, which is today. You see a lot more in the red for Sunday, which is major, and then a lot more purple for Monday into Tuesday. This is where we get 112 to 115 for the heat index. And again, you see that is quite a bit of the area that's going to be like that. So I have a feeling, again, Robert, Jacksonville going to be about the same way as we go throughout the next couple of days.
Yes, James. And yes, by the way, good day. I hope you're having a fantastic Saturday out here. Yeah, you know, we're doing this crosstalk between us and Tampa, just talking about the entire of Florida and how hot it really is going to be over the next few days. And I just heard you, James, and I'm not going to try to step on your toes on this one, but you did say that it is summer, it is hot out here, we're kind of used to it, but I do think that over the next few days, let's not get the people trapped too much into that, because we are getting into that next level of heat, and which is why, of course, here at First Coast and there at Tampa, we have those weather impact alerts in place, because boy, that heat and that humidity, my goodness, as you were just showing there, that's the big topic, right? That humidity as it does start to build in over the next few days. Heat indices here could be up to 110 or higher. So my goodness. So actually, hey, and just let me know, James, here for Tampa. When do you have a weather impact alert in place out there for this?
Yes, we have it for the next 4 days. We're going from noon to 6 for the next 4 days. And again, this is just starting today because temperature's still going to be in the mid-90s all the way through Tuesday. But what we're adding again is more humidity. And and we joke, well, we're used to the 103 to 105 is what we're kind of used to. That's summertime. That's actually right now. And again, we haven't even hit the peak of the day. And that's another thing is the weather impact alert is to let you know that this is not normal for us. Even down here in Florida, this is not normal. This is going to be the oppressive. So again, today, 104 to 108. And there's your Sunday afternoon, Tampa, 110. And maybe even adding a little bit more of that on Monday. So again, we can see some spots getting up to 112 to 115. And again, anything over 108, that's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean anything. But it really is interesting, and you showed those extreme heat warnings in place for parts of the Carolinas. So it's just this big old dome. But I do want to show you this, though. Let's talk about just across Florida temperatures real quick here, because Saturday, look at that, 97, of course, for our high. I know over there in Tampa, you got, mid-high 90s here all across the state of Florida. Monday, 100 degrees we're going for here on Monday, by the way. May even look at mid-90s as we go head over towards Tuesday as well. So you get that 100, you get those humidity. It is just going to be a sauna here across Florida. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we do have those, of course. And I'm actually thinking, James, I don't know about you, but we might extend that to Tuesday. I don't want to get overzealous with our weather impact alert here, but hey, the point is to let people know this is not your normal setup. It can be rather long. Also, James, so what's your current heat index in Tampa? Because the thing here today is starting around 10 a.m., we're already getting up to about 100. And as we go ahead to about 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, we're still at 100 for that heat index. So I think that's another part of this story is the prolonged nature of it. There's not much time for a break from the heat, if you will. Yeah, right now our current heat index in Tampa is 103. And again, we're still in the morning hours. And the big thing, which is exactly like what we had last weekend, is you're talking about it going 6, 7 o'clock. This because we don't have any really rain chances as we go throughout today and tomorrow. That's what you need. And it's funny because I had a nice heavy shower at my house. Well, it was a storm. I had lots of lightning. And this was about 5 o'clock yesterday. And it's amazing how good it felt afterwards. Just because you get that rain-cooled air, it does suck some of that humidity out of the air temporarily. Those midday storms don't do that because it dumps a lot of rain on the ground. The sun comes back out, all evaporates back up. But those evening showers do help. And we're not expecting those. So, yeah, you're looking at 7 o'clock still feeling like probably 100 to 103 in our area here. So, again, that's what we're dealing with right now. And you can only imagine how much hotter. Further illustrate your point here, Jacksonville, same deal. We're going to be dry Saturday and Sunday, but we have a lack of rainfall. And in fact, I want to show you this graphic here I got on my side. This is basically, we had that rain around 3, 4 o'clock yesterday. And you can see we had 93, and it's like middle of peak daytime heating. And if you didn't have the knowledge that it rained, you'd be like, what happened? Was there a solar eclipse? You can see it drops down to 89. It starts to rebound a little bit, but really good example there of what you're talking about, that there's going to be less rainfall over the weekend, so you don't get that break in the middle of the day. And boy, things are just going to stay prolonged, just hot. And by the way, it's not just me and you, Tampa and Jacksonville. I want to go smack right in the middle of us really quick here. Orlando. Basically, Orlando's looking at 95, 97, 98 on Monday. So if you think you're going to get away from the coast and you're going to get away from this, not really going to get much of an opportunity there, James, because that heat looks like it's going to stay prolonged there in Central Florida, West Coast, East Coast. Anyways, yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. So can you tell me about what's kind of causing this? And I have a graphic on this end, too, if you want to talk about it. This heat dome that's really setting up across the state of Florida.
Yeah, well, basically what we have is a big ridge of high pressure that's over. It's actually to our north. That is basically blocking anything from coming through the area. And that big ridge of high pressure is sinking air. Of course, we need that rising air with the humidity we have, Don't want to get too technical, but what we have, what you and I talk about, we have CAPE. So we have available energy, but you need something to lift it up. With high pressure, it kind of keeps that subdued. We got a lot of heat, we got a lot of humidity, but we really don't have much of a trigger. A lot of times we get that sea breeze for us that brings us that trigger, but that high pressure is really keeping that subdued. We also have that Saharan dust, which of course helps dry out the mid-levels of the atmosphere. So even when you do get that lift of the humidity with that heat, it starts to dry out in the mid-levels. So that's really a big factor. We have no fronts coming through. We typically don't have fronts coming through here whenever we go through summertime. We have the Atlantic high there that is going to keep that pretty much out of the area. We will eventually start to see that breakdown as we go into the beginning of next week. For you a little earlier, so you're talking about maybe extending yours up till Tuesday. We've already extended ours till Tuesday because you got a little bit better chance with our extended forecast, which is what we're going to talk about, because luckily for us, nothing going on in the tropics right now, not expected over the course of the next 7 days. Some of the forecast models are kind of hinting that maybe we could get a little bit of something, but really, it's just going to be this building heat and humidity and nothing to help trigger these afternoon storms. Let's talk really quick about this heat safety, because again, when we talk about used to this Florida heat,
you got up here.
This is nothing we're used to. So wear light-colored clothing, take frequent breaks. Now, over the weekend, it's not too bad. Not a lot of people out working. Definitely our road crews aren't out there working, and a lot of times they do. It's overnight, which is a good thing. Here's the thing that you got to remind people, especially you and I, we living near the coast. You want to grab a case of beer, head to the beach. Less alcohol, less caffeine, which is another one. Drink it, I know, because they're stimulants. Of course, more water is what you need. You got to keep hydrated if you're going to be outside. The best thing is to seek those activities in the AC. And here's the thing, we got school starting in a couple of weeks, and we already have the kids practicing football out there, getting ready for the first week of school, which typically the first football game's the first Friday. My daughter's already playing golf. And you've got to know the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. With heat exhaustion, you feel faint, dizzy, excessive sweating, cool, pale, clammy skin, nausea, vomiting, rapid, weak pulse, and muscle cramps. Now, here's the big thing. Here's what a lot of people don't know. When you go from heat exhaustion to heat stroke, you stop sweating. And a lot of people don't know that. You get that migraine headache and you stop sweating. And that's where your body temperature gets above 103. You got red, hot, dry skin, again, the nausea and the vomiting, rapid, strong pulse, and you may lose consciousness. And one of the things going into high school, my daughter, is one thing you got to learn, and all athletes, we have to watch the videos that talk about heat exhaustion, heat stroke. When you get to the point of heat stroke, ice bath. Call 911. Ice bath, just keep the head out, but put everything else in an ice bath, and that is really the only way to get you cooled down. So we're talking about excessive heat, and again, showing that graphic where we're expecting it to get worse over the course of the next couple of days, and that's where you get here this extreme. Look at the graphic here. Moderate today, we have some red in the area. Tomorrow, major, a lot of red in the area, but then you get to these purples again, 112 to 115 on Monday and Tuesday. And for us as well, we might even expand it to Wednesday. We'll see. We're going to talk about the extended forecast coming up here in just a second, but I can actually show you one of the reasons why we're dry right now, and you can actually see it here. So take a live look around here for our area at Tampa International, Lakeland, Clearwater, Sarasota. That camera's off in the distance. That one's pointing offshore to the southwest, and Armature Works the same thing. But look out over Tampa, and this is the reason why we're so dry across the area. Look at that haziness off in the distance. That haziness, again, is that Saharan dust. So our air quality right now, and this goes all the way up to Jacksonville, is moderate. Today and tomorrow, we got that one spot in Polk County. I have a feeling it's moderate as well. You've got the Saharan dust out there. Here's your air quality forecast for the next couple of days. And again, that is for moderate. One of the reasons why, again, we talk about that Saharan dust, and you can see it right here out really over the entire state of Florida. There's today, forecast for tomorrow is for it to lighten up a little bit and then continue to lighten up a little bit more as we go throughout Monday and into Tuesday. So that's going to help maybe bring back a little bit of that mid-level moisture, and that can help bring some rain chances back. But look at the current expected rainfall. This is the European model, and this is the one we typically trust the most. And even Tuesday and Wednesday, that's not normal. But that's why Tuesday, you look up towards you up there in Jacksonville, that's where you're going to get a little bit better chance, which could really help you out. So this is what we're looking at, the extended. Again, have high pressure over the area, have that big ridge of high pressure. You see that circulation. We're watching that low over the week, which, by the way, invests 93 from 2 weeks ago. We're both watching that one. Luckily, that one's gone. But as you take this forward into the future, there's that high pressure just continuing. Watch it move out, though. This is what we're watching for next week, which, again, could bring Jacksonville a little bit better chance of rain as we go throughout Tuesday into Wednesday, because this one looks similar to the first time 93 came through, kind of hugging the coast, moving through the panhandle, and then moving its way inland as we go towards the end of the week. So again, there it is pushing its way inland. So there is the area right now, nothing going on, which is always good news. And this is the area we're going to be watching July 30th through August the 5th because of that trough, because of that low. And that's our tropics. So we'll be watching for that. Anytime these are over water, you had yours a couple of weeks ago with, the name escapes me, the one that went up into the Carolinas. The sea name.
Well, yeah, Chantal.
Chantal, that's it. I'm sorry. Yeah, a couple weeks ago we had Chantal. 93 tried to become Dexter twice. It didn't happen. So we'll watch for the potential for maybe that going on. And, of course, with that being, again, that trough and that low being a little closer to you, I'm sure you're keeping a very close eye on that as well.
Yeah, and at the very least, that will provide eventually some break from the heat. But I do want to go back real quick to the heat here, the heat map, because you're showing Tampa. I want to give some love to our friends here in Jacksonville as well. Yeah, because look at this. So that purple, of course, here in these heat advisories, I want to break this down really quick for everybody at home here, because the red means major. That's basically a heat advisory, and purples, that we're getting to next level out there. It really, as James was just pointing out a few minutes ago out in the Carolinas, they got those extreme heat warnings. And I want to show this. Basically, you will have more humidity, especially in parts of the Okefenokee, down the St. Johns River. You get a lot of the lakes out there in central Florida. So that's added humidity with those warm temperatures is going to just feel that much hotter. Now, this graphic's interesting. So this is our heat risk index, relatively new product from the NOAA here, and for those dark areas in purple basically means 113 degrees potentially or higher. That is the type of stuff where just little to no relief. It is persistent. And I want to show you this, James, and everybody at home too as well. Saturday today, we're going to get up to 97. That's our forecast. 102 is the record. Today, 99, 100, or Sunday is 99, 100 on Sunday is the record, and 104 on Monday. But check this out. Talk about a year that just must have been brutal. The record for each one of those was set back in 1872. Fair to say they probably didn't have air conditioning at that time, unless you were a super rich person who had ice come down from up north. I don't know. It's July. Ice boxes, I guess. A lot of numbers here. Point is, everybody's getting hot. James, I got a little trivia for you. So we're going to go back to 1872. Same with those record highs, but at that same time. Now, I don't expect you to know this, but we could take a guess. Maybe somebody at home can kind of guess at this. At that same time, we also had a record low high, the all-time record low high temperature in Jacksonville. I hope I'm saying that right. Basically, it was really warm in the middle of the night. So what do you think it was? 95, 79, 86, or 101 here?
You want me to guess? Because
Yeah, I want
Okay.
you to guess.
I'm going to guess 95.
It was actually 86, but
Really?
that is a fair guess. Like I said, I didn't expect you to know that. But, I guess the point is, boy, just that must have been a rough year. My goodness. Anyways, with that said, before I toss it back to you here, and let's talk about the extended forecast, I do want to show this image. If we could throw this on the full screen real quick. My goodness, this is a great shot from this morning. Not weather-ish related, but we did have some noctilucent clouds from a Falcon 9 launch off of our coast right around 5 a.m. And look at that. Doesn't that look like somebody just ripped open the fabric of the universe? And it's just like, I expect Iron Man to come flying out of there or something like that. Always love seeing cool stuff like that here on the... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's an amazing shot. Yeah, they were just telling us that we got a little bit of time left here to talk. You want to talk about extended forecast? I'm going to talk about extended forecast. What are we looking at Jacksonville moving over into the future over the course of the next 7 days?
Well, very similar to what you were saying. So we got the heat this weekend. That is by far the biggest thing, this dangerous heat as we go ahead through Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's still going to be up into the high 90s there. But then as you mentioned, that trough that's going to be setting up, increasing showers, thunderstorms by midweek. And, lightning, all that. Not the greatest. Of course, it's your afternoon storms, and we're more or less used to that. But at least it does bring down the heat a little bit. So that's basically what we're looking at through that extended forecast. It's all about that heat dome and that rain moving in. That is going to start to break it at least a little bit here. So on your side of things for Tampa, next 7 days, what's your hottest day you got out there?
Hottest day is actually going to be tomorrow and Monday. I like how you guys cool down into the mid-90s. You go from 100 to the mid-90s. And by the way, a little bit of weather trivia. You know what the hottest daytime temperature ever recorded in Tampa is?
Can you give me some multiple choice? Come on. And you know what? I don't need multiple choice. I'm going to go with 103.
That's a fairly good guess because that's what a lot of people would guess. Tampa has never recorded a
temperature. Is it more than that?
No. Tampa has never recorded a temperature of 100 degrees. They've never had an actual temperature of 100. Now, again, this is going back to the 1800s. 99 a couple of times is the hottest.
That makes sense.
Yep.
And is the official reporting station in Tampa between the bay and the Gulf? Is it like in there?
It's the northern part of the bay, and they do get the effects of the water. So it's right there at TPA at the airport. And again, something that I learned, coming down here. I'm from the Carolinas, and we 102, 103, I think 104, some of those spots. Those are the record all-time highs. And coming down here, I'm like, well, when do we hit 100? They're like, never. We don't ever hit 100 here. Now, feels like temperature.
That's impressive.
Yeah, where we probably feel like that in end of May. But again, that's why we talk about heat and humidity being such a big deal down here, is because our actual temperatures, if you look at our extended forecast, we've got mid-90s through Tuesday. Again, you add the high humidity, that's where we have our weather impact alerts. That's where we're going to be 108 to 115. And there's our cool down 93, 94. And again, if you look at our rain chances compared to yours are better. For Tuesday, Wednesday, into Thursday, you were looking at about a 60% potential for rain. And again, that's with that trough, that's with that low being closer to you and circulating that moisture around. So again, one of the reasons why we're here every day, because that trough and low shifting a little bit further down to the south could increase our rain chances Tuesday through Thursday, maybe even into Friday. So we'll see about that. But again, we're talking about cooling off to 93 with a heat index of 105. So that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and that's where, again, we talk about what we're typically used to here. Our normal temperature is 91, which usually feels like about 101 to 103. That's our typical summertime here. And then we get those afternoon, evening thunderstorms to cool us off. That chance is going to be going up. It looks like Tuesday is still kind of hit or miss because that trough and that low is just developing. So seeing where that's going to be going, that's going to be a big deal for us next week. Again, most forecast models agree on your rain chances being higher than ours because of the location of that. And again, when you look at the ensembles, we're not really looking at much in terms of tropics. We will watch that. But What we're focusing on, I'm sure everyone at home is focusing on, is when are we going to get some rain to help cool us off? And that does look to help maybe build as we get a little bit towards midweek. But again, we're just going to be hot up until then. Find some indoor activities. Use that air conditioning as much as possible. Drink plenty of fluids. Unfortunately, not as much beer and caffeine. But again, I think we can handle that. But just try to stay in and stay cool.
Yeah, I hope everyone, that's the key thing. Stay in, stay cool in the AC if you can. Drink plenty of water. Even if you get a headache, it might just be because you're dehydrated. So I hope everyone stays safe and enjoys their weekend out there. Thanks for joining me here, James.
Yeah, thanks to you as well. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend and try to stay cool.